of Group B loads up here. It's going to be on Deadwing. Vetoes have already been taken care of course. Map number 1 going to be Deadwing. Map number 2, Overgrowth. And map number 3, if need be, is going to be Vonnie Research Station. So we are loading in here. And this is going to be a Protoss versus Random. Jacobus, extremely good Terran player. Also has some really good Protoss builds. I don't know anything about his Zerg play. So he is hoping he's not going to get Zerg. But anyway, we are finally here, and let's go ahead and introduce the players. Starting in the top left corner, on Deadwing, it is the pink Protoss player from Flare Gaming. It is Harrow. And in the bottom left corner of Deadwing, spawning for Team All Inspiration, playing as Random, it is the blue Protoss player, Jacobus. We've got a PvP to start things up. And I love random players in tournaments like this because it means we're going to have a lot of diversity in terms of matchups we're going to be seeing. So that's going to be really cool. Now, Jacobus knows he's playing up against a Protoss player. Harrow doesn't know the same thing. So he has to play with his safest opening, where Jacobus has the option to be extremely aggressive if he wants to be here.
Yeah, I imagine that Harrow is going to be opening up with some form of gate expand here. I mean, you're not going to open up Forge in the hopes that you're against a Zerg player, but I don't know, maybe we'll have something crazy. I imagine we'll be seeing the gate expand come out of Harrow here, but Jacobus does have the options. He has that little bit of extra information at the moment, so he can play with that. We'll have to see how this game plays out, though. Both are opting for the 13 gate, so no really fast gateway aggression from either side.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing most likely a pretty standard opening. Really, things are going to start to differ once the gas start going down. I mean, in a PvP, you know for sure the gas is going to be going down relatively soon as it starts, right as I say that. But it's all about the second gas. And right away here, Jacobus taking his second gas instantly after the first. So he's got something planned here. He's got some tech in mind for sure.
Yeah, meanwhile, Harrow is opting. He's making sure that there's nothing... Oh, hang on a minute. What's this? Okay.
Oh, God.
Well, that's a hidden pylon for something. We'll have to wait and see what goes down there in future. But yeah, Harrow, instead of opting for the second gas, he's opted for the probe scout. He's going to be using that money to make sure that he can find out what race Jacobus is, which is going to be a good start. And I would... Oh no, he's scouting cross as well. That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate for sure. It's going to take a while. At least he's not scouting horizontal, though, so these players should be familiar about the spawning locations here. Harrow, I think he's going to drop a gateway over here, yeah, and he's going to go on with a little bit of two-gate aggression, which I like. I think it's pretty cool. It's probably pretty safe against any race. So, well, I say safe, but I mean, it's a good choice against any race to get some damage done.
Yeah, it's a little bit unconventional against Zerg, but I mean, the odds are in his favor of not playing against a Zerg player, so I think he's just rolled the dice correctly there.
Yeah, and Jacobus is maybe going to scout this out. He's gonna have to make some effort to look in that corner here to scout the second gate. So we're going to see here the probe moving on up, and it looks like he's not going to go in there. Now, maybe once he gets into the main of Harrow, he's going to count those pylons. He's going to see 1.5 done, and he's going to know something is up.
Well, I mean, at the moment, he's not doing much of anything. But that being said, he's busy at home warping in his own Twilight Council, so he has potential here for going either Blink or Dark Templar.
Oh! Okay, he almost moved his Stalker out of the way to let that probe get in and do some scouting there. Gonna block that probe so the Twilight Council goes unscouted. Meanwhile, yeah, Jacobus has not scouted that gateway in the natural, so this is 100% unscouted. He's gonna have to deal with some pressure here, as some Stalkers are gonna probably start moving across the map for Harrow.
Yeah, and we do have the Dark Shrine and the Robo coming down for Jacobus, so he's opting for actually a very standard play here. Oh, never mind. As I see, he's throwing down up to 3 gateways. I was thinking he would go for the DT into expand, but he's going to be opting for the pressure as well, and he's actually aiming to be quite safe here, chrono boosting out a sentry.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the Protoss expert by any means, but we got a whole bunch of gas being spent on a whole bunch of things here. Dark Shrine, Robo-Base, Sentries, Warp Prism.
That's not gas, but that's something crazy for sure.
Yeah, and the 3 Stalkers are coming up. The Sentry is going to prove to be very useful as he gets a force field down, or he doesn't get a force field down, and the 3 Stalkers make it on up, and they're going to start pressuring the main of Jacobus here. Dark Shrine not finished yet. This is going to do quite a bit of damage with these 3 Stalkers.
It's not going to be game over, though. It's going to be very annoying, but Harrow gets the scout on the Warp Prism, and eventually he's going to get the scout on the Dark Templars, which have to be warped in defensively here to force Harrow away. But actually, Jacobus is opting for Stalkers, so he needs a 4th Stalker here to make this fight work, I think. But actually, good micro coming out of Jacobus here, as the Warp Prism is not being sent across the map yet, so I guess Jacobus is prioritizing his attention at the front. But this Stargate is making a Void Ray now.
Yeah, now the one good thing going for Jacobus here is there's no detection on the map for Harrow yet. He does have that that Stargate if he needs to make an Oracle. But once the DTs start moving in here, they're going to be able to get some damage done. But Jacobus was definitely distracted for a moment while fending off that first attack. And Harrow has a major probe lead here. He's up by 10 at the moment.
He doesn't have any detection, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is up to... Oh, God, that Warp Prism is just going to drop off the DTs here.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty huge. Oracle is being chrono boosted out now. DTs are in the middle of all the probes, and Jacobus has to catch up here.
Yeah. Jacobus isn't focus firing the Stargate down, though, so Harrow will be able to get his detection out, but this is catching up. This is exactly what Jacobus needs to catch up in this game. So many probes going down, up to 8 so far. A Stalker goes down as well. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that Oracle is just about to pop out, though, and the detection is going to be activated here. 12 probes going down, though, and this is definitely what I would call catching up here as the DTs finally get picked off, picking off even more probes before they go down, and now Jacobus has a nice probe lead. And he's got 3 gateways and a Robo Bay, so he's in a pretty good spot, I think.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get those Immortals out, but he already has 2 of them out already, and he's making a forward pylon across the map, so he wants to pressure, but he's going to need some Stalkers to deal with this Void Ray, which is going to be eating up these Immortals.
Yeah, he did get a scout off on that, so that's a good thing. Harrow going for a forge here. I guess he wants to drop some cannons in the mineral line just so he can forget about the DTs and not really have to worry about harassment here. But he's going to have something else to worry about with 2 Immortals moving across the map. Is there a third one? No, it doesn't seem to be.
No, there's only 2 Immortals. 2 Immortals, 5 Stalkers, and 1 Archon is the choice for Jacobus. That Archon, though, I hope that's not trapped. It's not. Okay, it has to take the long way around there. Phew.
Yeah, he's got another pylon here, so now it's going to be all on Harrow to defend this push, and this is going to be incredibly scary. The Void Ray's really the only saving grace for him, except for this Oracle moving across the map. It's actually going to be able... Well, actually, there's 2 Stalkers here left by Jacobus. Very nicely done to fend off that Oracle, and now he can move up the ramp into the main, and oh my god, this is going to be so hard for Harrow. Luckily, Photon Overcharge is a thing, and he now has bought himself a million minutes to catch up here.
Looking like a non-true Protoss player, yes. That being said, though, it does give Jacobus a lot of freedom on the map. He's going to pick up this gateway, which he's finally found. He has the freedom to expand if he so desires, but I think he's more occupied with his Oracle at the moment, which hasn't got a kill yet, so very well defended so far by Jacobus.
Yeah, those 2 Stalkers are key here defending this, and basically Jacobus covered all his bases in terms of what might be able to kill him, and soon he's going to be able to move in here. I don't think this Photon Overcharge is going to be enough, although very shortly we're going to have a second one on the way from this Mothership Core, so 3 Void... Is that 3 or 2 Void Rays? 2 Void Rays are going to be pretty scary, so I like Jacobus picking off some pylons. He could even take out that Stargate altogether with those Immortals, and here comes an engagement here. Oh my god, Void Rays do so much damage.
They are so powerful, but with the Archon, it'll tank so much damage from the Void Rays, and one of the Void Rays goes down, the second one is at half health. The second Photon Overcharge is popped, though, by Harrow, but does he have any units left on the field? There's just 2 Oracles, neither of which are doing anything.
That is pretty terrible for Harrow here. He lost every single unit in that engagement. Again, Photon Overcharge is going to buy him a little bit of time, but Zealots aren't going to do it here. I mean, at the most, he's going to have 2 Void Rays to defend this, but we've already proven that 2 Void Rays is not going to be enough. He's still trying to poke around with these Oracles, but man, only 2 Stalkers is all you need. There's not even a Mothership Core here for Jacobus.
Yeah, that's actually something I'd like to see him make at some stage. He probably will need it eventually to make to hold a counterattack from Harrow or to recall his army home, but I guess he's just comfortable warping in Stalkers, going full Wings of Liberty here.
Yeah, I think... I don't know if Harrow can actually defend this. I mean, the Mothership Core is pretty much useless now. Again, there's 2 Void Rays here and some Zealots. So here we go. Stalker's going to be focusing down those Void Rays very nicely here, and there's the GG from Harrow. Very nicely played from Jacobus in Game 1. He's going to take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that was well played by Jacobus, and I would wager that that was the matchup he didn't want to play. And he
Yeah,
still won
probably.
out. So that's a load off his chest there, I think. I mean, he still obviously has the same odds of rolling Protoss in game 2, but knowing that he can beat Harrow in PvP is going to be a breath of fresh air, I suppose. For...
Yeah, big time. So we're going to go ahead and get right into game number 2 right away. And yeah, I mean, that was a pretty fun PvP to watch. And there's something to be said for a Protoss player who gets like what is it, like 2/3 of the tech options in your own main before you even take an expansion.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
PvP.
yeah, and he had the option to get out those immortals if he needed, or if he had to react to something differently, he could get an observer. He can get anything he needed, really. So I like that opening from Jacobus, and I mean he won the game with it, so it must have been pretty good.
And this is also Harrow won the coin toss, I believe, correct? So this is Jacobus's map, I believe, right?
Yes, yes, it is. And the map choice is going to be Overgrowth. Now, I mean, Jacobus playing random. I don't know if the map choice is 100% like is going to really make a big deal in this matchup,
Maybe.
but
We'll find
we're
out.
going to see. Yeah. All right, we got the ready from Jacobus. We are waiting for the ready from Harrow, and we're just about to get in here. Now, I wonder how Harrow is feeling after that first game. Getting pretty much. I mean, I don't want to say he got crushed, but
No,
I
it was
mean,
pretty back
it
and
was.
forth. I mean, there was the pressure at the start. You got to recall. There was the Oracle attempt harass. There was the DT drop with no
Yeah.
detection that he somehow survived. So that was huge. It could have been game over right there if Jacobus focused the Stargate down.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, so he didn't get crushed, but Jacobus just played really, really well here and was able to take the first game. He's got to be feeling good, but we are going to be talking about the pink Protoss player in the bottom left corner of Overgrowth. It is Harrow, spawning for Flare Gaming. And in the top right corner, spawning for Team All Inspiration, now playing with the red color, it is the Protoss player Jacobus. PvP again here. I was hoping for some diversity, but nope, we're just going to have PvP all night.
Well, it might not be all night. I mean,
We do have two Zerg players in the
we
group,
have
so
two Zerg players in the group, and Jacobus still has 66.6% chance of getting not Protoss. We would hope. So there is the chance, but I mean, I for one actually really enjoy PvP. I have the rose-tinted goggles of seeing it through the eyes of a Protoss player who only 4-gated in Wings ability. So
well, that's
it's
all you
nice.
needed to do.
Speaking of early aggression, though, we have a 10-gate coming out of Jacobus, so he's really making that random advantage work. He's going to be ramping up the pressure here in game 1, but Harrow is going for the 9 scout, so he's going to be able to catch that.
Yeah, he's going to notice right away that he's going up against a 10 gate, and he'll probably drop a robo, I think, to defend against that. Or that would be my choice anyway. Now, as a former Protoss player, if you open with a 10 gate, does that leave you with the option to sort of quote unquote macro out of it once you know it gets scouted?
It really depends on Jacobus' choice of follow-up here. I mean, he could just go for maybe 1 to 2 gateways and just lightly poke, but if you go up to 3 gateways, even 4 gateways, it's straight up all in, and if that doesn't work, the game is over. But I mean, look at this. The cybernetic score is down before Harrow's gateway is even finished. That being said, Harrow does have the full scout, and being a Diamond Protoss himself, he should know what's up here. He's just double-checking things, clicking on the gas maybe. He's being a bit annoying, actually, with his probe here. I mean, anything to disrupt the weaker economy of Jacobus is actually huge.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, I mean, in PvP, a 10 gate is pretty darn popular, so he's got to have at least a plan in order to deal with this. And I like where he's placing his buildings here. He's kind of completely walled off the right side of his nexus, so he's going to be safe on that side. And he's starting a bit of a pseudo wall off on the left side as well, across the top here. So pretty smart building placement from Harrow.
Yeah, he's also
Opting
saved
for
up.
the second gate.
He saved up his chrono boost as well, so he'll be able to really chrono boost out that mothership core, the stalker, the warp gate, everything he'll need to defend. Note that Jacobus' warp gate is already a quarter finished, being heavily chrono boosted right now. So I mean, even though Jacobus has been scouted, I think he's just going to go straight for the aggression here. But yeah, here we go. Here's the second gateway. Here's the third gateway.
All right, well, the probe is just now moving on out onto the map here for Jacobus, but smartly here, Harrow grabbing the watchtower with that earlier probe, and he's going to see the probe moving across the map, and he's going to have a vague idea of where that pylon is going to be. I don't know if he's really going to be able to make any use of that information, actually, but he's going to know, so
Well,
that's
he's
the
moving
thing.
out with his own stalker, so he's looking for it. He's making sure, hang on, I think that, and there we go, he does see the pylon. He's going to go and try and get the probe, but no, he's not going to be able to get that probe, so more pylons will be able to be placed down by Jacobus in future.
Yeah, and that's pretty key here. The nice micro, I suppose, from Jacobus here to ensure that he had a zealot and a stalker to fend off the possible only one stalker coming out of Harrow. And oh god, he's got to be careful with that stalker though. Not taking any real damage, but he's about to get sandwiched in by the other stalker here.
This is the one weak point actually for Jacobus right now, because this is when the two gateways get 3 stalkers out before the first walk-in happens. So Harrow really made that work there. I believe these are the only 3 stalkers on the field now for Jacobus, but he does have the hull advantage. But the 4th stalker has popped out for Harrow now, along with the zealots to tank the damage, and he's frantically chrono boosting out warp gate, trying to get more units out. But I think with another warp-in from Jacobus, his pressure is going to really ramp up here. He's actually floating a lot of money.
Yeah, he's going to be able to afford this. He's going to get some zealots in here as well. Lots of stalkers about to bust up the ramp here. There's no sentries for Harrow, so these stalkers can just run right up. Micro is pretty all right here from Jacobus, and it's going to be 5 versus 3 here. 4th stalker is coming in, but he's going to be isolated pretty quickly and picked off here from Jacobus. More warpins are going to be coming in. The zealot doing a good job taking some damage and forcing Jacobus to micro here. Man, this is going to be so hard for Harrow to hold off, though.
Yeah, Jacobus is actually going for the high ground pylon here as well, so this is going to guarantee that he gets high ground vision for the stalkers, but also just really aggressive warp-ins. And there's no sign of a mothership core in sight this game for Harrow. He chose to put 100 gas into a sentry instead, but with Jacobus already up the ramp, this is looking pretty grim here for Harrow. This isn't an Artosis pylon that Jacobus is focusing down, so Harrow has that going for him with some nice building positioning that you were commenting on earlier, but so many units warping in for Jacobus now.
Yeah, now, Harrow does have a nice amount of zealots out, which is going to help him out for sure, but these stalkers are actually picking those out pretty quickly, so perhaps not. That sentry is all but useless here in this fight since force field's not really going to matter. And Jacobus is putting the pressure on here. Probes are being pulled. Oh man, this is such a tense moment for Harrow here. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold this off, though. He does have the 3 gateways.
He has 4 gateways now, so he just needs to buy time and let his production catch up. But Jacobus depowered one of the gateways there, and another gateway isn't fully morphed in, and so many probes are being pulled. Right now, Harrow has equaled Jacobus' probe count, so the economy advantage isn't there any longer, and he's still pulled probes to fight and tank damage here, so even more units warping in now for Jacobus.
Yeah, this is just going to be crazy here. Now, Harrow doing a great job staying in this game so far, given the position he was in. Oh man, there's a little bit of move command going on here from Jacobus, forcing him to take some extra shots here. These zealots are actually getting right on top of the stalkers here. What a force field from Harrow. He's actually going to lock the stalkers in, and actually, oh, Jacobus gives a GG. Wow. GG. Wow, that was cool. That was a good PvP.
That was intense, yeah. So something to note right at the end there, my old school PvP full gating knowledge coming in here. You actually need zealots to go with your stalkers, because the zealots will do a lot of damage when they get up close to stalkers like that, as we saw right at the end there with Jacobus' stalkers just getting absolutely shredded. So you really need a few zealots to allow your stalkers the freedom to micro around like Jacobus was doing, and give yourself the freedom of mind that the other guy's zealots are going to be occupied by yours.
That was such a crazy game. I swear to God, I was like, I would have bet tons of money that Harrow was actually going to lose that game, but then just that one moment where he was able to force Jacobus into the top right corner of the base, and in doing that, all the zealots were able to get on top of the stalkers, and that force field to keep Jacobus from leaving was awesome.
The money force field. That's what that 100 gas was. He paid for the victory there with that force field. Harrow dropping the sad face for some reason. I mean, dude, you won game 2. You made that look easy.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was a stressful game for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was necessarily easy for Harrow, but it was pretty damn close, and that was a awesome game. So we are moving into a game 3 here right off the bat in set number 1, finishing things up on Vonnie Research Station. Yeah. And we know Jacobus is praying to God that he doesn't roll Protoss again.
For sure. I mean, I think he showed his hand, probably his entire PvP repertoire in these two games, because as a random player, you practice 9 matchups. You can't
Yeah.
have that many builds in 9 matchups. So, okay, he doesn't fall.
Okay, here we go. So on the bottom portion of Bonnie Research Station, tying the set up in the last game with some amazing PvP defense. He is spawning for Team Flare Gaming, the pink Protoss player Harrow. And in the top portion of the map, spawning as Zerg this time for Team All Inspiration, the red Zerg player Jacobus. I'm nervous for Jacobus here, to be honest.
Nervous.
I don't know how good he is at Zerg. I just don't. I know he's an awesome Terran player, and he's definitely he can hang in there PvP with Harrow. I've just never seen him play Zerg, so I have no idea. He could totally surprise me here.
Me too.
But I'm nervous for him.
I'm
because...
equally clueless. I have no idea how good his ZVP is. I've never seen him play ZVP. I've seen one Zerg versus Zerg in CTL, which he played, I believe, last week, and he lost. So he can micro Ling Bailing all day, but he eventually fell out in that game due to just slightly inferior Roach army quality, I suppose I can say. But that's just one game. So that's about as small a sample size as we have. So Jacobus is very much an unknown here. And he's also an unknown for Harrow still, opting for the 9 scout with the gateway again. Just that nice catch-all opening.
Yep, and we're seeing a hatch first going down here for Jacobus. Pretty standard. He's getting the Overlord over there just so that he can... I mean, I don't think that's necessarily necessary, because I don't think Harrow's going to be opening with a Forge first anyway, not knowing who his opponent is, but it's going to be safe, and it's probably just a reflex thing for Jacobus to move that Overlord over there.
Yeah, I mean, Jacobus, I believe, he is a random player right now, but he did main all 3 races across StarCraft 2 at one stage or another. So this is probably his Zerg instincts kicking in of, oh god, there's a probe in my base. He's going to build a town of cannons in my natural.
Yeah. And you know what? That one time where you're like, he's probably not going to do it. That's when he does it.
It happens, yeah. And he's already got gateways there as well, because...
Just to pour salt on the wound.
Yes.
All right, so... We did have the hatch gas pool here, which is about as greedy as you can get in terms of, well, not 3 hatch before pool. But it looks like he's going to be going for that super fast speed before getting any queens out, getting any lings out. And we're going to have to see here because Harrow went for a double gas. He's got 2 in each. Usually, I always say usually that means Stargate, but then usually that's not the case. Usually. So we might actually see a Twilight Council. Who knows?
He's actually opting for the Stalker right now, and he doesn't have enough money yet for the Nexus, so he's opting to be very safe, I believe. Delaying the Nexus to maybe as late as 30 supply is something that MC, I know, used to do a lot. So just, I mean, opening up with a safe build against a random player who you saw go hatch gas pool, he's going to have that very fast speed. I like this opening from Harrow.
Yeah, definitely taking the safe route here. Jacobus did pull out of gas here, so he's literally just getting speed, and that's all he wants. Now, I mean, we're going to find out if he's really going to be going into any sort of aggression with this. It's all about whether he's going to start droning up his second base here. He could put on some aggression. He's got a nice number of lings out, and if he chose to get more, there's no wall off here, and Harrow just dropped a Nexus, and lings against, like, if you have a flood of lings come in at around a 6-minute mark against a Protoss that hasn't walled off and there's no cannons, it's pretty hard to hold off.
Yeah,
that's what we see here.
I don't think that Jacobus wanted to pressure. I mean, he's opting to go up to 4 queens here. So that's something that's more macro-oriented. He's dropping the double creep tumor as well. I believe these Zerglings that he's making now were forced out by the pressure, and here we go back into droning once again. He doesn't actually have very many drones at all. We're approaching the 6-minute mark, and he's only at 18 drones, so these lings really have to get some damage done on the other side of the map, but I think they will.
Well, the buildings are going down now. There's one little opening here for the lings to get in, and they are racing across the map to try to get in there. This stalker... Oh, no, the lings have stopped in the middle of the map. The stalker's going to be able to get up there and defend that opening here, and that's going to make things pretty hard for Jacobus to do some damage. He is going to be able to still get in eventually. Oh, okay, well, here he goes. He gets in. He's going to get into the probe line.
And the mothership core is on the other side of the map, we have to remember, so there's no overcharge here whatsoever. There's only one Stalker. I mean, there will be a warp in very shortly, but Stalker is going to go down soon, and he has to recall the mothership core home, but there's no energy for anything else, so that's game.
Oh, Jacobus with the Ling run by here, and he's going to take the last game from Harrow. Wow. If that mothership core was at home and there was a photon overcharge and the Stalker stayed in its position and held that and held that opening shut, then I mean, he would have been easily able to defend that, and we would have moved on to the mid game here. But nicely done from Jacobus, showing us that he knows how to flood Lings pretty early here with speed and get a win against Harrow.
That wasn't even a Link flood. That was just, oh goodness, you're attacking me. I need a few units to defend, and guess I have speed. I'll use them, because he knew he was, oh my, I have no drones in my natural. I need to do something with these Lings, and then he just slipped right in. He coated those Zerglings in Vaseline or butter or something before they left, because they just slipped right into that base.
I'm pretty sure butter would be the choice above gasoline in that specific
Did I say? I meant Vaseline, but I mean gasoline works as well, right? I mean, it feels like all our drones are coated in gasoline, if you know what I mean.